We go. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Sorry, we're trying something new this year. Well, end of this year. Sorry for next year. Got certain goals in place. We are trying to make sure we get all this moving forward. So while I'm waiting, tell me where you're at, where you're watching from. If you are watching at this point in time, that would be great. We're going to get started very quickly. I'm just trying to make sure a couple more assets are running. Let me check one more thing. I'm just checking one thing out here real quick. And then we're going to run. And we're going to talk about Walt Disney today because Walt Disney's birthday is today. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that is a great topic to talk about. So, yep. So that's what we're hitting today. So awesome. Hope everybody is doing well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining in on here. And like I kind of said, we are going to talk about all things Disney today. Well, not all things Disney, all things Walt. Today is Walt Disney's birthday. He was born in 1901 in this date. And I am, in case no one's aware, I actually was trying to go around and hunt. I was very mad. I did not bring one of my Disney hats in today. So I'm a little upset with myself on that. But today we're going to talk lessons from Disney that are in place for us and things that we can make happen for ourselves in our business and our times. And again, anytime you guys come in, just tell me where you're from, where you're at, join into the conversation. Happy to play along with that. Cool. So I guess here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk some lessons from Walt Disney, some vision, technology, tenacity, and how that built a legacy inside the business. And I do think it matters today about how that gets moving forward. Again, today is Walt Disney's birthday, and whether you realize it or not, the way he built a legacy is the same way we as realtors can build that blueprint for 2026 or any small business teams, whoever is there playing along. Thanks for all coming in. Feel free to chat. Disney faced tons of adversity. He had so much challenges in place. He was one of the first to do a lot of things in there that built a thriving, strong, amazing business. So whether you are trying to grow your business in a tough market or you're just trying to figure out what is the next technology or the new thing you're trying to strive for, we've got some good lessons for you today. So I'm going to tell you right now, he built an empire. He built an empire based on really his imagination. He was essentially known for being a very creative person, but I will tell you that I don't think that was his strongest asset. His strongest asset was probably being more customer focused, being, I guess, quote unquote, fearless for the industry, where he could come out there and show you how to get something done, how to face that adversity, and how to make that happen. He was really good at making those challenges. And that's the same things and lessons that you all can learn today from him that you can put into your business and hopefully build some systems to make your legacy for 2026. So the first thing I want to talk about is his vision. He started with nothing. He started with no funding, no guarantees. He actually lost his first rights to his most successful character. He lost it to, I think, Warner Brothers, maybe at that point in time. I forget exactly. I should do a little bit better. Hey, man, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for chatting along. Hope things are going well for everybody. But what I love is instead of giving up, he created Mickey Mouse Next. But when he did that, he learned the lessons from last time. He came out there and made sure that when he was working out there, he retained those rights. So instead of giving up, he created the most recognizable character in the world, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 Disneylands, worlds, however you want to call them these days, across the world because of one character that he did not just give up on. Also, when he built or went and tried to build Disneyland, he was told that's a ridiculous idea. This is bad. Nothing's going to happen inside of here. But he understood something that most people didn't understand. And hopefully most realtors learn. Your vision does not need other people's permission. What you want to do in your world, what you want to do in your place to make things happen, how you want to be that customer service driven and focused personality, doesn't need someone else's permission. It needs your drive. It needs your vision. It needs your desire. But you can do it. It doesn't need the perfect tool. It doesn't even need that perfect market. We are sitting in great markets. We're sitting at this point in time in an area where we're probably seeing a shift in the market to some degree. And I know real estate's local. So in our areas, wherever you all may be at, it's different. But that vision, that desire you're building will motivate and drive you into action, or should anyways. And that action then creates opportunities. Those opportunities then give to leads, to closings, to that freedoms you're looking for. So I want you to ask yourself, what's that big vision you are holding on to? What is that big vision that you're trying to do that will not let you be held back for accomplishing the goals you want to happen in place? Walt Disney did not wait for everything to show up magically. He had a vision. He worked hard for it. So can you. Find that vision, find that motivation, and have that work in your business. Next, failures. He was wrought with a lot of failures in life. Walt Disney was a very challenged, I would say challenged. He was motivated highly, but he had a very challenged career, right? Walt Disney actually filed for bankruptcy. I think he filed a couple times, but I know for sure he filed at least one time. He was rejected by more than 300 banks when just trying to fund Disneyland. His studio almost collapsed multiple times through various challenges in the market, financing, union challenges, struggles, stuff like that. He saw a lot of challenges in his business. But instead of letting that shape him, he let that drive him, right? It did not stop him from doing what he knew he had to do. So let me ask you, I ask myself this all the time. When you are fighting the business out there and you have a setback, whether it's a deal falling apart, you didn't get the client, you didn't get whatever you needed to get, what did that do for you? Did that define you, or did the actions afterwards make who you are? And I'm hoping for all of you there, those actions afterwards are going to make you who you are. That's hopefully going to be the defining edge for you. That response to those challenge moments is what's going to make or break your career. So I hope you can get through that. Your breakthroughs in 2026 will come from the reps you put in when nobody else is. Your legacy isn't built on success. It's built on persistence. That's what I pride myself on. Through the lessons of Walt, one of my favorite things is to find those ambitions, those drives, those things that keep me moving forward. What gets me here every Friday to do what I do for you all is what I go out there and challenge and find. So I'm hoping that works for you as well. Find that motivation. Now, I am the tech guy, so I'm going to tell you the one thing that absolutely loved about Walt was his embrace of technology. He, again, he was known for his creative, but I would say his creative wasn't necessarily the creative. It was um, the foresight to say, no, that's not possible, to rather saying, how can we make it happen? So what I would call is technology fearless. So some examples. He brought synchronized sound to his animations. He did this before anybody. He was one of the predecessors for movies today of how they exist today. He pushed color. He pushed cameras, robotic animatronics. The 3D illusions that we get from early Disney cartoons was of how he looked to structure the technology today, or back then, to make it work for what he needed to create, the illusions that he was trying to create. It wasn't it was always about he wanted to tell a story. But what he wanted to be able to figure out is, with the tools that he had available, his fearless adaptation to trying something new, how could the technology today, or what he wanted it to be used to create the story that he wanted to tell? The story was always paramount for him. But one of the things I think was fascinating for him is he didn't let the limitation of, well, that's the way it's done today, end where he wanted to tell those stories. I will say you all here in the room today have that same opportunity. You have that same ability to find that opportunity, find that nuance, find that technology, AI being the biggest example today, to move forward and get that in your world. So what are you jumping into? AI, your MLS tools, automate your follow-ups, right? That's going to be a big thing this year, I think. I think there's going to be two big technology innovations. I really wouldn't call them this year, but I think there's going to be two big ones that happen this year that will help format your worlds. One of them being what has been kind of monikered called AI agents. So these automated programs that are out there that will do a bunch of steps at one point in time, either from lead generation, campaign follow-ups, or whatever it may be. You're going to see that in place. So I think that's going to be a big one. But one of the things I got a privilege of going to a couple of weeks to was a major AI conference. And the fascinating story I had with some of the vendors was what you're seeing a lot of newsletter companies, for a lack of better terms. I really don't got a great name for this type of marketing. But what they're starting to do is use AI to help build very customized campaigns for the audience. So as you all know, as small business professionals, you don't have the same person that you're talking to every time you send an email out. So how do you build a newsletter that embraces each person's wants and desires, and you stay in front of them, giving them value? I think that's going to be an interesting challenge. My question to you is, how are you going to do that? Are you going to invest in it? You're going to try something? You're going to try to build it yourself? What are you going to do to make that happen? What I've said for a long time, and some of my fellow AI trainer friends have said, I'm going to tell you right now, AI is not replacing you. People that use AI will. So how are you going to use that technology today to leverage your time, make you more efficient, and go out there and be the person in place like Walt, taking that technology to make your customer experience that much better? Now, I think Walt Disney did a great job for building that legacy. And I think there's a couple ways he did it. He built systems that outlived himself. He wasn't out there. One of the best things I thought Walt did was he challenged his teams to be bigger than themselves. And a great example of that comes into Walt Disney World. He died before Walt Disney World ever opened. He actually died before too many shovels actually got hit on the ground. But because he had built the teams that knew how to accomplish and incorporated the same vision, it actually finished. Now, his brother, Roy, definitely was a key partner in getting that done. But that team knew what he was doing because he had built systems that made the legend of Walt Disney World happen. So I'm going to ask you, what systems do you have in place? If you were to stop doing business today, like you had to be home taking care of family, major accident, something that derailed what you're doing. Do you have the ability in your world today, those systems in place to make your business sustainable when you're not there? I'm going to tell you, it's the biggest question I have all the time. What are my CRMs doing to help do this stuff? What do I have in place that helps growing that pipeline in place? It's something I am trying to do. It is definitely not an easy conversation, but it is a conversation we must have. And I'm going to tell you to learn from Walt, because Walt built a legacy that finished one of the most world's famous parks, and he wasn't around to do it himself. So what can you do in that world? What is your CRM? What are those automated plans? What's your 12-week goals? What is that lead gen rhythm that you have in place? What is that Disney system you can implement that will make your world move forward? Now, we got one last thing in here, tenacity. I think Walt built a legacy beyond anything else. And one of the things that I love about the legacy of what Walt built was he built tenacity. He built a vision that outlived himself. I want you to always think about your business as a legacy. I want you to always think about your business as something that outgrows your world. When you are working in the business today, what are people going to say when you're no longer here? What is that conversation you're going to have? We are not just selling houses. We are helping families, people shape their future. You are helping your friends, your clients, your SOI, your COI, whatever it is, you are giving them something for life. What does that look like? What does that experience in the end mean to that stuff? When they mention getting that home, how do they talk about you? So I want you, when you come into this year, what is that legacy you're building? What is that conversation all your clients say about the experience you built for them? And what does that mean? And how are you going to take that tenacity that we all have to build that image you're trying to build? So please, just thank you for all being here. I'm going to tell you right now, Walt Disney reminds us that adversity does not define us. Technology does not replace us. Tenacity, imagination, and vision are the ingredients of a business that will last. So if today's message, I hope to help you, join me every Friday. I'm going to be here every Friday at 10 a.m. Usually I've been doing these on demand. Every Friday now it's going to be live, whether it's this way in my office or wherever I'm at. We're going to make this go live every Friday. We're going to help talk about technology, mindset, real world activities. We're going to give you practical experience all the way through to make your life easier. I hope this helped. Walt, happy birthday, and we'll see you at the next session.